This thing's open. All of the commandments are coming from God. It's just that the first 10 are like most important, so they were written by God Himself. But the only two things that really matter nowadays, if you're religious, not the only two, but the main two things is like keeping kosher, and kosher, right? Like kosher food, like not mixing meat and milk, not having pork, not having shrimp, right? Keeping kosher, and the other thing is keeping Shabbat. Keeping Shabbat is not using electronics, not traveling on Shabbat, right?
Now, because it's Sabbath, the stores the market are closed. May mga churros, miso potato.
Yeah, it's the best for, it's not open now, but it's open, on the Sunday again. So tomorrow, I'm going to show you where.
Kantoon ko naman.
Facebook is the best source, I think. I want to explain also about the Purim. Okay, Purim is the first temple was destroyed by the Babylonians, the temple of Solomon, King Solomon, right? King David didn't build the first temple because he had too much blood on his hands. He was a warrior. It doesn't mean he was a murderer. He was a warrior. He killed in self-defense, but still, it's the temple has to be built by someone who is pure, who hasn't been taken a life. Okay, so no warriors, only priests were able to build the temple. And the first temple was destroyed in 586 BC by the Babylonians. Half of the Jewish population was exiled to Babylon, the other half stayed in Israel. After King Cyrus the Great in 538 BCE, basically it was Persia that conquered Babylonia, right? So Iran conquering Iraq, right? He decreed that the Jews could come back and build the second temple. 538. So we were exiled in Babylon for about 50 years, right? After this time, right, there's the 300 Spartans that we see in Sparta.
Yes,
the 300, right?
300.
So Xerxes was the Persian. They look him as evil because he wasn't evil, but he had a short temper, right? So he killed a lot of his wives because they were unkind. They didn't show up when he asked them to. So he chopped off their heads, right? Because of this, he was missing a wife. So he at the same time there was Haman. Haman was the high priest, the Persian high priest, and he wanted to kill all the Jews. Okay, he was trying to convince Xerxes, or in Hebrew we call him Achashverosh. Achashverosh is Xerxes. Okay, he wanted to convince Achashverosh that the Jews were evil and that they needed to be destroyed. However, Xerxes, Achashverosh, needed a wife, so he wanted to call a big banquet. Everyone was going to be invited, including the Jews. He wanted everyone to be invited, and it was going to be like a masked ball, where you have a mask on and costume, whatever. That's why on Purim we have costumes, right? Like Halloween. And the Jewish community in Babylonia, even though the Jews were allowed to come back and build the temple, there was still a Jewish community that remained in Babylonia. And the leader of that community was Mordecai, and he had a niece, Esther. And Esther was very beautiful, and he realized this is our chance to save our nation, to save the Jewish people. He said to Esther, I want you to go and meet Achashverosh. Esther was like, He said, no, you need to do it. So Esther asked for the order of Israel to fast, to all of us to fast, to give her strength. She went, one person goes and meets Achashverosh, another one. When it comes time for Esther's turn, they both take off their masks and they fall in love. It's actually a true story. It's both recorded in the Persian text and also in the Mishnah, in the Talmud, in the Jewish Bible, right? And basically she convinces Achashverosh that Haman is evil, and so Achashverosh cancels the decree and kills Haman and his 12 sons, hangs him and his 12 sons, and also there were 36,000 rioters because of this, and he killed all of the rioters. So there's 3 days of Purim. Welcome. So they left in the throne and played Scenic. So that's a Scenic. I don't know what the day is actually, but Scenic comes from Tzaddik. Tzaddik is righteous. You know what is righteous? To be righteous, right? To give to the poor, to have sympathy, to have empathy. This is actually the qualities of Abraham. Abraham was the first righteous, actually Adam, the first man. According to Judaism, Adam is the first Jew. The first man was Jewish, right? And then Abraham. So in the 1950s, like late 1940s, 1950s, there was Bauhaus. It's actually, they're from Germany. It's German architecture, and it was actually a school called the Bauhaus School in Israel, and they were meant to prepare the people for the modern state of Israel and how to build the houses. Bauhaus is more international style, and yeah, so there's actually a museum in Tel Aviv. You can go to the Bauhaus Museum, and they explain more about that too.
Esther, no? Kasi hindi ko ma-spell eh. Nev Shadak Street. Ang dami ng tao. Kaya big.
house. It's actually a museum. It's based off of the Irgun Etzel. Irgun in Hebrew is organization, so the organization of Etzel. Remember I mentioned the British Mandate? So in the British period here, the British were not very nice to the Jews. They did 3 things to the Jews excuse me, that they did not do to the Muslim population. One is that they only allowed 2,000 Jews to come into Israel, despite the fact that there were hundreds of thousands of Jewish refugees, especially during the Holocaust. Okay. The second thing is they didn't allow the Jews to trade openly in weapons, arms and armor. They only let the Muslims. The third thing is they taxed the Jews 3 times more for property. Remember I told you about that, right? So because of this, the Jews formed these 4 underground, when I say underground, I mean under the eyes of the British, underground organizations, the Haganah, the Irgun Etzel, the Lechi, and the Palmach Brigade. The Haganah were mainly responsible for smuggling in weapons and Jews. They also taught the new Hebrew language, as I was telling to Andrea, right? As I was talking to Andrea, Hebrew for the last 2,000 years before 1948 was only used for prayer. Hebrew was actually used in the time of like before 2,000 years ago, but because of the diaspora, it was only used for prayer. We spoke other languages, English, Yiddish, Aramaic, right? And then when we came back to Israel, we formed a new, it's the same letters, same language, but there's new words like bus. There's no bus in the time of King David, so we made, so you see like, in America, usually the name of the soldier is written on the uniform, right? But in Israel, it's actually, this is an acronym, Tzahal, Tzahal. It means Tzva Haganah LeYisrael. Tzva, the army, Haganah, to defend, LeYisrael, Israel. The army to defend Israel, or the Israeli Defense Force, okay? That's when we formed in 1948. The newly formed Israeli Defense Force came to this building before they conquered Jaffa.
Feeling that I belong. Feeling I could be someone. Be someone. Got a fast car. Is it fast enough so you can fly away? You gotta make a decision. Leave tonight or live and die this way. You got a fast car. Is it fast enough so you can fly away? You gotta make a decision. Leave tonight or live and die this way.
Bagels. Are you donut dito yan? Namin so shall bagel.
Poi perché sono